Hello and welcome back to The Bar, where I want to do a mini-series over the next few weeks that looks at this very topical subject at the moment of IR35. It's very relevant to us because we've always run a business which is sort of full of known associates, people that have worked for us for years as independents, but we also have clients that have flexi resourcing needs. And what I want to look at really is probe it a little bit, and I want to probe it in a few places and share some of the experiences that I'm having with IR35 with different clients across the board. So most of our work is in private sector. Public sector have been working with this with IR35 now since 2017, and private sector have never really had to work with it. And what we're seeing is, or what I'm seeing is, amazingly, here we are, all this time that we've been leading up to IR35. It got delayed last year, and now here it is. And I think it's going to happen this time. My view is that in the situation the country is in financially, it needs every penny it can get, and this is a source of revenue for them in their minds. So my view is it's going to happen. What I'm amazed by is how many of the companies we work with and that I see on a regular basis, it just does not feel like they're ready for it. They haven't really thought through how they're going to manage it. And there's some contending sort of priorities that are causing what could become quite a car crash, I think. So the first is that you have, most organizations need flexible resourcing capability. They have a need for it. So there is a need, whichever way you look at it. But equally, organizations most of the clients I work with are trying to get their heads around, if they do a status determination, what do they want the outcome to be? Because part of the organization is want to take out all the risk, particularly private organizations, all the risk and the liability that relates to IR35. They don't want that risk. And so, they would in some ways feel more comfortable with a determination that comes out saying, this is within the IR35, it's an off-payroll scenario, and it's therefore it's inside IR35. Which is fine, although the problem with that is that then you've got to look at the associates, the people who are independent contractors working through their own limited companies, and what are they prepared to accept or not in terms of a change in their commercial structure. Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of people saying that they're not prepared to make that change, that they feel they can continue as they are, and if they can't continue as they are in the company they're working with at the moment, they will leave and go and find work which is essentially deemed to be outside of the IR35 determination, which is interesting because you then could get essentially a hemorrhaging of existing project managers, and therefore a whole load of gaps, resourcing gaps. And remember, some of those project managers will have been working on projects for a year to 2 years, so they've got really a deep understanding and knowledge of the project, and they're fundamental probably to their success at the moment. So you then have the business owners within that business who are then thinking, crikey, how do I deliver my projects when my project managers are walking off site, or they've decided they're not going to work under this new determination, which puts pressure back onto the determination. And the business owner going to the person doing the determination saying, surely if we look at it this way, that way, or whatever way, then the determination is it will be outside of the IR35 regulation, which would mean we could have our project manager back and he or she is going to be quite happy to continue. But this is all happening in a lot of different clients that I'm working at the moment. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens over the coming weeks and months as this becomes a reality. And it essentially, it gets managed through, because it will get managed through. It's like one of the Brexit scenarios, or the Brexit scenario. We're all waiting for the lorries to be sort of stacked up on the motorway. Right now, it hasn't happened. Maybe this will go the same way. It'll all just flow through and sort of be okay. But maybe it won't. And certainly, we're seeing a lot of confusion within clients as to what's the right way to deal with this. And there's also a lot of confusion with associates, independent contractors, as to what they can or can't do and how much work is going to be available to moving forwards. So next week I'm going to look at a PMO solution, which is IR35, and how we're sort of tackling it. But what a fascinating time. See you next week.